Good afternoon. It's time for the Iman Report. It is Wednesday, September 15th. It's time to preview week 2 of the NFL. We're going to start off, of course, if you like what you see, give this channel a big like and please be kind and hit that subscribe button. We are going to start off with the Thursday night game this week. The New York Giants against the Washington Football Team. New York, the 3-point favorites. New York coming off a loss to the Denver Broncos. One where, it's a different year, but the same old Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has proven at this point that he is not a franchise quarterback. The Giants' defense looked great. As for Washington, they come off a tough loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. They always play the football team defense is great. You got a serviceable game manager in Taylor Heineke who takes over for Fitzmagic, who's out maybe for the majority of the season. I don't expect this game to be a high-scoring game. This is going to be a very low-scoring game battle. But I do think Washington pulls it off somewhere around 17-14. Washington gets the win. Washington covers. Next up, the Las Vegas Raiders take on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Vegas coming off a big win over the Baltimore Ravens on Monday night. Pittsburgh coming off an upset over the Buffalo Bills. Pittsburgh's defense, legit. Raiders, the defense actually looked good for week 1. They're going to have and also, two Big Ben's a step down in quarterback competition from Lamar Jackson. The Raiders are good at stopping the run. The bad news for the Raiders is they're going to be without Mariota. But I think Carr is going to have to use his arm. Jacobs is going to have to run the ball. But if Pittsburgh can pound the ball, Pittsburgh has a path to victory. This one's going to be close. This game is going to be physical. Who comes up the victor? Pittsburgh with a 5.5-point favorite. I'm going to take Pittsburgh's going to win this game, but they do not cover. And I'm going to say something around 24-21. The Cincinnati Bengals travel to Chicago to play the Bears. Chicago was embarrassed by the Rams on Sunday Night Football. Can Red Ryder get a win in his Soldier Field debut? Playing against his former team, the Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals offense looked great. Jamar Chase can play football. But we'll get to Minnesota later. The question is, are the Bengals up and coming? Or is it the Vikings maybe are quitting on Mike Zimmer? Find out that question this week. Same thing with Chicago. Is another coach who's on the hot seat, Matt Nagy. How much of a leash will Andy Dalton get? If David Montgomery shines like he did last week, Chicago gets it done. Chicago definitely has a better defense than what was advertised, so I think they're going to be able to shut down Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase a little bit. Chicago, the 3-point favorites. Chicago's going to win this. They're going to cover. I'm going to say something about 27-20 for Chicago. Next up, the Houston Texans against the Cleveland Browns. You know, the Texans are 1-0. Are they going to go to Cleveland? Are they going to pull off even a bigger upset? Not this time. Not this time. I think Tyrod is a good bridge, but he's not going to beat Cleveland. Cleveland, you can only stop Patrick Mahomes for so long before he gets his team back in the game. I think Cleveland's going to make quick work of. They're going to make quick work of the Texans. The Texans are going to will fall back to earth, be proven how bad they actually are. Browns win it 41-10. They will win. They will cover the 12.5-point spread. You get now the Los Angeles Rams against the Indianapolis Colts. Can the Colts avoid 0-2? The Rams, you know what? Matthew Stafford looked great in his debut against LA. Stafford is a great quarterback. The Colts defense, they're going to probably play angry. The Colts' problem is Carson Wentz. Can Wentz and Reich get it right in week 2? Right now, Frank Reich has hitched his stake to Carson Wentz, and if things don't get better this year, Frank Reich is going to find himself on the hot seat. I do think the Colts are the team to beat in the South, but nothing more. LA, they're great. The Rams are going to get it done. The Rams are the 4-point favorites. Rams win. Rams cover. Rams win it 31-20. Buffalo Bills against the Miami Dolphins. Man, last week the Bills had a stinker. And Josh Allen just did not have any time to throw the ball. He got bullied. The O-line has problems. And Josh Allen cannot be Superman every game. Now they go to a Miami team that plays above their shoulders. I have my doubts about Tua. I have questions about Tua. But the defense is lights out for Miami. They don't make mistakes. I actually think this could be an upset here. Buffalo 3.5-point favorites. I'm going to do it. 20-17, Miami. Buffalo will start the year 0-2. That is my upset pick of the week. The Browns are my lock. Now we go to the New England Patriots and New York Jets. It's been a long time since Bill Belichick started the year 0-2. And Zach Wilson definitely had a debut to forget last week. Who rebounds? Mac Jones looked like a good quarterback. They were just not good enough to win the game. Both of these quarterbacks are going to have better days. But I do think the experienced Bill Belichick and the experience of the Patriots, and of course the Jets are without Mekhi Becton, that's going to make it a very long day for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's going to get slaughtered by the Patriots defense. Patriots are going to win this game. Patriots, the 5.5-point favorites. Patriots win. Patriots cover 20-3. Next game, the San Francisco 49ers against the Philadelphia Eagles. This was a game last week where the 49ers, they won, but they're pissed. They almost choked away a lead to the Detroit Lions, so the defense is going to clamp down. Philadelphia, they looked great against a horrendous Atlanta defense. Jalen Hurd looked like a good quarterback. I think the 49ers defense, they're going to play better this week. But there are questions in the secondary without Jason Verrett. We don't know if it's going to be Josh Norman this week or if it's going to be Emmanuel Mosley may or may not play. You could end up having Josh Norman and Dre Kirkpatrick, who the 49ers recently signed this week, playing in the secondary. So that's a bit of a downgrade in the secondary. But Jimmy Garoppolo looked great. Ken Mitchell filled the void while Raheem Mostert's done for the year. They wait for Jeff Wilson Jr. to return from injury. Trey Sermon should be playing this week. Can they get performance out of Brandon Ayuk? Trey Sherfield looked great. I think the Trey area is going to get it done. I don't think it's good. 49ers will win it. I'm not confident they'll cover. 49ers are 3.5-point favorites, but I do think the 49ers will get the win. Be a 27-24 score. It should be a very fun game. The New Orleans Saints against the Carolina Panthers. The good game nobody's talking about this week. Two quarterbacks that look rejuvenated with their new teams. Man, what can I am sorry I doubted you, Sean Payton. Sean Payton is a wizard. Jameis Winston looked like the quarterback he was supposed to be at Tampa Bay last week. The Saints defense locked down the Packers. On the other side, Sam Darnold looked great in the Joe Brady system. So certainly there is Sam Darnold getting off to a good start. The Panthers defense, pretty good. This is going to be a very tight game. Right now, the Saints, the 3.5-point favorites. This is tough. This game is going to be a toss-up. I'm going to go Saints, but they're not going to cover. I'm not confident they're going to cover the spread, but I'm going to go Saints somewhere around 20-17. The Denver Broncos against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Denver, the 6-point favorites going into Jacksonville. Poor Trevor Lawrence. Poor Trevor. He's going to be crying for his mommy after getting roughed up by Von Miller. This is going to be a slaughter fest for the Jaguars. They played horrendous last week against a bad Texans team. And man, the Denver defense is 10 times better than the Texans defense. The Broncos defense is just going to feast on Trevor Lawrence. Urban Meyer looking more like a Nick Saban than a Jim Harbaugh at this point, or a Pete Carroll. Yeah, they're going to go 0-2. Teddy Bridgewater will never be an elite quarterback, but he is a serviceable journeyman quarterback. He'll have all day against the Jaguars. Broncos are going to... I think it's going to be Broncos in a romp. Broncos 35-3. Next game. The Minnesota Vikings against the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona, you proved me wrong. You exposed maybe a fraud in maybe a guy who might be trending down in Mike Vrabel. They exposed an offense that looked like shit without Arthur Smith. Minnesota, another team with a lot of problems. Based on what I've seen week one, Minnesota, I think Mike Zimmer is losing the locker room. That is not a good sign. 0-2. And I think this is going to happen. Zimmer's going to go 0-2, and his seat is going to start getting toasty in Minnesota. It can't just be Kirk Cousins, but they're going to be without. I think they're going to be without Dalvin Cook this week, which is not going to help. But it's not going to matter. Minnesota has pretty much. I think Minnesota is starting to show signs. They are quitting on Mike Zimmer. Granted, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury is that great of a coach, but I think he's competent enough that he's going to beat a bad Minnesota team. Minnesota is just bad. Arizona should take care of business. Cardinals, the 3.5-point favorites. Cardinals win it. We click Cardinals 28-10. Another one could be a slaughter fest. The Atlanta Falcons against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Well, I think Atlanta might be starting to regret not drafting a quarterback in the offseason. Matty Ice, he's thawing, and it's not good. Yeah, it just was not good for Atlanta last week. Tampa, they had their own problems, but they won. They found a way to win. But I think this is going to be the game where Tampa just takes it out on a bad Atlanta team. The defense is just horrendous for Atlanta. This is probably a team that's going to need to tank in order to get better. They're going to probably need to draft a quarterback next year. It's going to be Tampa. Tampa's going to take it 45-7. And what's the Iman Reports game of the week this week? The Dallas Cowboys go to the Los Angeles Chargers. The Cowboys' offense looks so much better with Dak Prescott calling the plays. Dak is a good quarterback, going opposite against another good quarterback in Justin Herbert. The Chargers' defense held their own. Justin Herbert wasn't his best last week, but did good enough. I think this is a game where Herbert's going to play better football. This could be a shootout. And I think, there's going to be, SoFi's going to be full of Dallas fans. But it's going to be the Chargers who come out victorious. It'll be the LA Chargers 24-21. LA goes to 2-0. Now to Seattle, where the Tennessee Titans play the Seattle Seahawks. Man, did the Seattle offense look like they were having fun last week in Indianapolis. They carved up a good defense. And you know what? For 1 week, the defense didn't look half bad in Seattle. It's only week one. But now they get another team with a horrible defense with the team with a much worse defense than the Colts in the Tennessee Titans. Defense looked like shit. The offense looks like shit without Arthur Smith. And now it all falls on Mike Vrabel. 0-2 is very likely coming for Tennessee. There's no way Seattle's going to lose at home against this horrendous Titans team where Tannehill is showing signs of regression. Seattle's going to win this game with ease. Seahawks, 38-17. And now what should be a great game? The Kansas City Chiefs against the Baltimore Ravens. When these two teams clash, there's a lot of scoring. But last week, it looked like maybe Lamar Jackson's losing a little bit of a step. And the Raiders did a good job forcing Lamar Jackson to use his arm. But when it's Mahomes versus Jackson, this is always great games. I think this one's going to be another good game. But I think Mahomes is the better quarterback. Mahomes always finds a way to win. Kansas City gets it done. Baltimore falls to 0-2. The Chiefs win it 31-28. And last but not least, the Detroit Lions against the Green Bay Packers. Detroit nearly pulled off the upset against the 49ers. Green Bay never showed up to Jacksonville last week to play the Saints. They're coming home to Lambeau now. They're going to be pissed off. And it's not going to be a good day to be the Lions. I think you're going to see a much better Packers team come up. We might see a lot more of a focused Aaron Rodgers. I don't think this is... The NFC North is wide open, but I don't think the Packers might be bad, but they're not this bad. Packers win it, but I don't think they cover the 11.5 point spread. I think it'll be something like... I'm going to go something like 28-24. Packers get it done. That's my week of NFL Week 2. Everybody have a good week and good night.